Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for this full moon that's coming up on December 4th, 2025. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below. I'd love to work with you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look to see what this full moon could have in store for you. Life path number 1, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 17-8 for this full moon. Now, anytime that we move through an 8 cycle, it can be somewhat challenging in that it forces us to pull from our inner strength, to find our power, to step into that power, and to become that business-minded leader within our own lives, to become that strong, focused leader, pick up the reins, and take initiative, which is very much similar to one energy. But because you have the vibration of the 17, this brings in this benefic layer that's very, very supportive and can bring in a lot of rewards, recognition, accolades for what you have already achieved or what you have already been working on. So that can feel really, really good. For you all, there may be a focus on your ability to sort of master the world of finance. In other words, how you manage your money, your relationship with money, maybe what you charge for your services or what you get paid. Maybe this is the time that you ask for a raise or speak up for yourself and what you feel you deserve. Doesn't mean it's necessarily always going to go your way, but this is a great time to advocate for yourself and again, speak up. This is also a very powerful cycle for you recognizing the presence that you have when you are standing in your power and sharing your gifts. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily for money or monetization. It just means that when you are fully embodying you and your gifts and your confidence, there's a presence to that and people are going to feel that. So this full moon could show you where maybe you're minimizing yourself or selling yourself short, and this can get you back in focus to help you to step into that stronger presence. This is a cycle, especially with that 17, that's sort of made for success and achievement, whatever that means for you. So you could see the green light in a lot of ways. You could see things really moving in your favor. You could also see that your work or your contribution has some kind of positive influence in the world, with your clients, with your colleagues, with your family, wherever you touch, you could start to see the impact that you have. And that can also have you look to see, are you happy with that impact? Are there any modifications that need to be made? Is there anywhere where maybe you're trying to control the environment too much and maybe you need to back it up a little bit? Or is there a situation where you are charging too much for your services or for your, what you put out into the world, to the point where it's no longer accessible? And so this cycle can have you kind of look at that and make those modifications as needed. Also, this can have you step into that presence again that's very authoritative and commanding, not controlling, but commanding. It's a presence. So love this for ones because ones often struggle with kind of overcoming self-doubt and trusting themselves and taking that risk and pulling from that inner strength in order to continue to take those risks, even if they don't work out. So you could see that come in quite a bit around this full moon. And it's also going to push you to tap into the integrity behind your why. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, ones. Bye for now. Life path number 2, this full moon, you're going to be working with a vibration of the 18-9. And so though we don't often think of 9 energy as being creative, it can absolutely tap us into our greater creativity. So this cycle, you could find opportunities to express your more quirky side, your more creative side, to allow yourself to really showcase what inspires you, where you feel your talents lie. And that can make you feel really good. So if you have the opportunity, even if you don't have the opportunity, make the opportunity to share your gifts in some way. And it doesn't have to be for monetization. It can be just for the act of sharing. Maybe you're a painter, you enjoy painting. So maybe paint a picture and give it to someone. Something along those lines where you're sort of spreading your gifts in a way that feels good for you. And if you want to monetize it, monetize it. This is a great opportunity and great cycle to, again, continuously tap into the innate gifts that there's that well of within you, and find those outlets that allow you to share them that feels good, that doesn't feel, like it's an obligation or whatever, but it feels good. So this can be a beautiful cycle for that. And you might find that a tremendous amount of inspiration and ideas come through during this time. So pay attention to those. Maybe write them down. This might not be the time to take action on them, but this is a beautiful time to write them down, to start to plan maybe how you'll implement and get your ducks in a row so that when the time comes to take action, you're ready to do that. This is a time where you could find people are drawn to you because you're charismatic, because, people see you as someone who has good ideas or is inspired or inspires them in some way. And so, be open to collaborating and connecting with others, and maybe having those discussions to understand where are greater resources needed. And it might just be that you are able to create something or do something that can help to find that solution. This is a time to find ways where you can become someone who is a champion for the underdog, where you can find ways to bring justice to situations where maybe there's been an injustice, where you can uplift, empower, inspire others in some way. This is such a beautiful cycle for focusing your energy on the needs of others. What are the problems? What are the solutions? How can you be a part of that process? And in doing so, you will likely find that anything that you've been struggling with, anything that you've been stuck on in your own life, you'll easily overcome because the solution will likely come for you as you're focused on others. So beautiful cycle to shift your focus to the external, what's needed, and how can you be of service in some way to help bring that resource or that solution to light. Using your creativity, your innate gifts, your wisdom, your insights. This can be a great time for that. It's also the 18 vibration, so there's a healing element here. And again, by shifting the focus to the external and what other people need, helping them to find that solution, you're not doing it for them, but you're helping them find the solution. You will likely in turn find the solution to the problem that you're struggling with. So beautiful energy here too. This is a great time to pay it forward, to volunteer, again, to get involved in, causes that feel good for you, where you feel like you're giving back in a way that feels good for you. So I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 3, you all are working with a vibration of the 19-1 for this illumination. So you're back in that love vibration. 19-1 brings a love energy to the cycle, where this could be a time where you take a relationship to the next level. This is a time where you could connect with someone who is very significant in some way in your life, possibly for the long term. This is also a time for new beginnings, so new starts, fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, new ways of doing something or approaching something, new ways of looking at things. So as always, when you're moving through a 19-1 cycle, if those opportunities present, this is the time to say yes to them and get involved in some way. This is also a time where you could feel more innovative in some area of your life. So this is a great time to step into that problem solver energy and bring the solutions through your own innovative ideas. This is a time to speak up, to, again, advocate for yourself, to innovate, and to share your ideas because they have value and they have worth. So no holding back. This is the time to express yourself. It is very likely that your solution or your idea will be a solution for a greater problem. So share your ideas generously at this time. This is also a time where you might feel like you want to be more independent. So if there's any areas where maybe you've had to depend on others, maybe there's been a little bit of codependency, you might break free from that. You might be able to kind of close that out. This is a full moon. And this will give you an opportunity to show yourself that you are very capable of, stepping into that independency and that autonomy, and still facilitate connections where there's interdependency, which is incredibly healthy. So this is a great time to reclaim your independence from some kind of situation if that's necessary. This is also a time where you might be called to step into being some kind of effective and powerful leader, whether it's the leader within your own life and taking back the reins, or you're stepping into some kind of a project or something significant where you're going to be the lead and people are going to be looking to you for your creativity, for your wisdom, for your expertise. And so this might be your time to shine. And again, remember I said at the beginning, if the opportunity presents for you, it's because you're ready, even if self-doubt comes in and you convince yourself that you're not. Your job is to say yes to it and explore the opportunity. This is also a time for your creativity to shine. All eyes on you. And so how do you want to be seen? How do you want to express yourself? This is the time to take action in that direction. And you could really tap into your confidence at this time, or more of that confidence, by proving to yourself of what you're capable of. So it's a very powerful time for you to remember your place in the world, your voice, share your ideas and your inspirations, and remember the worth that they carry. Because you might just find at this time that your ideas, your inspirations, your vision carries the solution that so many people have been looking for so long. But you've got to share it in order for people to know that it's there. And if you fall down, pick yourself back up, because this energy is all about taking risks. So take the risk, see how it plays out, and learn from it if it doesn't work out the way that you wanted, but build on it if it does. So take the risk. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 4, we're going to be working with the vibration of the 22, so 202 for this illumination. This is a great time for you to focus on your relationships and how you connect to others. This is a time to be more diplomatic and to be that listener, but also to be open to other ideas and to connect with others, to find areas where there can be compromise, areas where there can be common ground. So it's not about you being right or you having the right, way of doing it or the right idea or to have control over a situation. This is a time where you need to fall more into diplomacy. And again, hear all sides, be as unbiased as possible. And through the information that you're receiving, help, figure out with the others the best way to compromise, to find that common ground, because that's how you'll build the bridges as opposed to burning them down. 4s tend to like to be more independent. We like to, again, we have the idea or the solution, and so we like to go straight towards that solution. And sometimes we override other people's ideas or advice or opinions about what's the best way to get there. But this is a cycle where I would say you're meant to be more of the follower at this time and let others lead and be open to other suggestions, because that's going to help you to think outside the box and be less rigid. Now you're going to bring the systems and the organization and how are we going to get this done? What are the steps? And that's your strength. And so, but allow others to share their ideas as well, because that's going to help you work smarter, not harder. So diplomacy in all areas of your life will serve you well at this full moon. It's not about being right. It's about finding the best solution that works for all involved that will help you to achieve the goal. This is also a time where you're being asked to, again, listen and not necessarily be the one who's speaking. So be the observer, become the observer, see where there's the disconnect, then work with others to find the connection piece. And then that's what you're working towards together. This is a great opportunity for that. There's also this strong emphasis at this time around, again, relationships and your how you love, how you show up to love, how you share that love, right? So it could be a vulnerable time. And so you want to make sure that you're being open and honest and vulnerable in your deeper relationships, because that's going to create that trust and that environment where others can do the same. This is also a period where it could be highly intuitive, where you have a lot of downloads, a lot of inspirations, a lot of ideas. And, 4 energy is meant to be heart-led, meant to be intuitive. So this is a great time to flex that muscle. Your dreams might be vivid. Pay attention to those, but pay attention to the downloads that you get at this time. There could be some very important information there. Also, again, this could be an emotionally sensitive cycle, but that's great for 4s because a lot of times, again, we override the emotion to get the job done. And this is a great time to kind of fall back a little bit, pay attention to the emotions, what comes up for you around this cycle, especially around the full moon or it being a full moon. And there might be some things that you can heal and release at this time. Also, big call for patience. And that's another thing that's a keynote for 4s that we need to work on in this lifetime is patience. And so any area where you've been trying to rush or you're frustrated because you're not seeing those instant results, this is a time to be more patient. And again, focus on the needs of others at this time, because that's going to help you find the solution that you're looking for yourself, more than likely. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, 4s. Bye for now. Life path number 5, you are working with the vibration of the 21-3 for this full moon. And I always love when 3 energy comes in with 5 energy because it can open things up for a lot of fun, a lot of creativity, a lot of beautiful self-expression and tapping into that core of who we are. And as 5s, you're always looking for greater freedom and greater ways to express yourself. And so 3 energy can help you to do that, but in a really fun way. It helps to infuse the joy back into a situation. You're going to probably have to create that joy, but it can definitely bring the people and the places and the things that can help you to see what that joy looks like and what it is for you. This is a time where your creativity is definitely at the forefront. So there could be some creative projects that come in for you at this time, some ideas, some inspirations, and I would say run with it, make it happen in whatever way possible. Beautiful time to collaborate, to be social. If you get social invites, this is a great time to say yes, to mix and mingle, and again, just to share your ideas and maybe brainstorm. Because again, who you could connect with at this time could be quite pivotal in helping you to make those creative projects real, bring them from the idea or the concept to reality. This is a time also to focus on your communication and how you communicate. Maybe there's some changes that need to be made there, or maybe you need to express yourself in a way that is different from how you've been expressing yourself, especially if you feel, which is not uncommon for 5s to feel misunderstood. So you might have to modify your communication style a little bit to get your message across in a way that feels better for you. And it doesn't mean you have to change how you communicate. It might be that, you just find different outlets for communicating, right? To reach people in a different way, perhaps. So that could definitely come up because you want to stay true to yourself and authentic in your expression. That's the whole point of 5 energy, and it's also the point of the 3 energy. So this cycle is helping you to become very authentic in your expression, written, spoken, your creative style, all those things. It's helping you to really shine a light on that and then share it in a way that feels good. But there could also be some modifications that you want to make as well, again, in order to get your message across and have it land in the way that you want it to land. So all of that may come up for review at this time, but do what feels true for you, what feels authentic for you, because not everyone is going to get you. Not everyone is going to be on your team, and that's okay, right? We can't please everyone all the time. We can't even please everyone some of the time. So, stick to the things that feel right for you and feel good for you. And this 3 energy is going to help you to continue to do that. This is a time also where it could feel a little sensitive, like emotionally sensitive, and you're meant to find ways to express those emotions in a way that's constructive as opposed to destructive, and to be vulnerable. And that can be difficult for 5 sometimes. And so this is a time to be a little bit more vulnerable and, open yourself up to people in a new way. And, don't overthink it. If it doesn't work out, or if you get rejected or whatever, then at least but you wouldn't have known had you just kind of kept hold up and didn't express yourself in a way that felt right, it felt true, or if you didn't express the way you were feeling. So an example would be like if you've wanted to ask someone out for a while, but you've had reservations, or you've been nervous, or you talked yourself out of it, this is the time to do it. They might say no. You might get rejected, but it's not the end of the world. And at least and then you can move forward and you can move on to the next opportunity that might present around the corner. So this is the time to tap into that. Also, joy and optimism. And so this is your opportunity to really, I mean, you always have this opportunity, but this is a beautiful cycle to really tap into your joy and your optimism and your idealism. Be overly idealistic at this time, because that's going to help you to figure out what brings you joy, what makes you happy, how can you create that joy even amidst the chaos. And the 3 energy not only gives you permission to do that, it will inspire you to do that in some way. And sometimes that's through conversations with other people. So again, be open to the connections that you make at this time and the, what people are saying to you at this time, what inspires you or what leaves you drained, because maybe that's an indicator that you don't want to work with this person, or maybe you need to move in a different direction. So a lot can come up now around relationships and how you connect with others and collaborate, your creativity and how you express yourself, but also where you find your joy, and giving yourself permission for more of that, to do more of that, to take time to, immerse yourself in the things that bring you joy. And maybe even to start stepping more away from the things that don't bring you joy. So I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 6, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 22-4 for this illumination. So the 22 is a master number, so it can often bring in master level challenges, but also master level rewards. And so you might find at this time that life is very busy for you. Things are coming up now. It could even be like, it's a very benefic cycle to move through. So this is a time for rewards to come in, recognition, accolades, promotions, gifts that maybe you weren't expecting. But there are things that you've been putting the effort towards, and now you're sort of reaping those rewards. That's the energy of the 22-4. But it can bring in some challenges that you'll have to overcome in order to sort of unlock those gifts or those rewards, but it'll be worth it. And it'll help you to tap into, again, a deeper understanding of what you're capable of. And it can also be that energy of recognizing that, okay, it was absolutely worth the effort. I'm so glad I did this. So it can be really powerful in that way. This is a time for you to get your footing in a very solid way. You definitely want to make sure that you are not burning the candle at both ends, or that you're taking on sort of more than you can handle. Like, you don't want to burden yourself or overburden yourself at this time, because you could find that with these rewards, these promotions, these recognitions, whatever may come in for you at this time, there's more responsibility that's needed at this time. And so you just want to make sure that what you're saying yes to is sustainable, that you can maintain that energy, and that you're not biting off more than you can chew. But this is a time for you to get your footing, to feel very solid and very steady in, whatever goals you're trying to achieve in your relationships, in your, work-life balance, whatever it may be for you. But this is an opportunity for you to see what's needed in order to step into that more solid, steady energy, right? And to create that more solid foundation. This is a time where you want to get organized. So I would say have a method, have a plan, a strategy, be systematic in your approach, and you will see the results. You'll have to take it, again, step by step, commit to it, see it through to completion, and I think you'll be really happy with the results. This is also a cycle that taps into the honesty of the 6. So this could be a time where you're being asked to have those more difficult conversations, whether it be with colleagues or your boss or your partner or friends, anywhere that maybe you haven't been completely forthright, or you haven't shared the whole story with others, or maybe it's about what you need in order to be able to show up in the way that you've been showing up. And so you could find that this is the time to really have those conversations and iron out the kinks, because that's going to help you to create that solid foundation that you're looking for, especially when it comes to your relationships. This will also have you take a look at what you are loyal to, and does that feel good? A lot of times we commit to something, or we're loyal to something, and then we no longer want to be in it, but we're in it because we said we would be. Or maybe we committed to something that we said we would do, and now we no longer have the energy or the capacity to do it. This is the time to have that conversation and to let the person know that you can't show up in the way that you said you would, and that's okay. But you have to have the conversation in order to kind of, again, set those healthy standards and to let the other person know, and not continuing to persevere when that will just likely lead to frustration and resentment. So ultimately, this is a time to figure out what's needed and then, have those conversations, be very honest about it. And if anything, it might strengthen that loyalty after you have those conversations. And for some situations, that might be you need to release it and let it go. That's okay too. So, and that can be difficult for sixes as well. So it's an opportunity to kind of flex that muscle and kind of practice that piece. But I think you'll find that you feel much more solid and secure in your own standing. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, sixes. Bye for now. Life path number 7, you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 23-5 for this full moon. This is a very high energy cycle for you all, and it can bring in a lot of opportunities to have more fun, to let your hair down, to not take life so serious, which can sometimes be difficult for sevens to do. But I would say fight the urge to, stick to what's tried and true and try something new. Let the energy of this cycle take you and show you what it wants to show you, because it's a very fast moving energy, very much about experiencing life with all your senses, being more spontaneous, not being, where you have to overly think about it or kind of go down the rabbit hole and convolute it. Just if the opportunity or the inspiration or the idea comes in, go for it, throw caution to the wind a little bit and see where it takes you. This is a time to be fearless, to be adventurous, to say yes to the adventures of life. And again, to not overthink it. A lot of times, especially with 7, because there's a lot of mental energy with 7s, the sort of overanalyzing. This is a time where you don't want to do that, because it's going to keep you from experiencing the adventures that life has set up for you, that they're just waiting for you to say yes to. And so this is the time to say yes. This is a time where you could have some inspirations and ideas that are quite progressive come in for you, that are ahead of your time or ahead of the time of the collective. And you're meant to kind of take that by the reins. And because you're 7s, right, you all are basically the magicians. You're meant to take what's from the unseen, the idea, the inspiration, and turn it into something real, bring it to life. You're the bridge between those two worlds. And so when you move through a 5 cycle, especially a 23-5 cycle, because it can be very protective type of energy where the veil is kind of thin and you're getting a lot of guidance from, again, the unseen, can feel very divinely guided. But this is a time where, you could definitely get some very progressive, very forward-thinking ideas coming in that will put you in a position of being some kind of a change agent to help to share ideas or, solutions that can change the way people think about things and can help to, progress and evolve in some way. This is also a time for you to possibly change your thinking about certain situations, whether it's relationships, whether it's a job, focus on where your thoughts go and how you think about the situation. Because a lot of times that drives our actions and that can drive our experience. So this is an opportunity to be much more fearless and be much more on the side of evolving and growth when it comes to how you view things. And your experiences will give you opportunities to see where that is. But this is a time for progressive thoughts and progressive actions. So it's not just about having the thought, it's about taking the action. So make sure that the thoughts that you're giving power to serve not only you, but others as well. This is a time to, again, just tap into all of your senses. So if it feels good, do more of it. This could be a cycle that really taps you into some of your greatest joys and things that really make you happy that you didn't even realize were things or that were available to you. So it's a great opportunity to be more freedom seeking and to break free from some of those restrictions that maybe you've put on yourself that have been keeping you from your joy. So it's a beautiful cycle, but it's going to require you to release your grip on the need for control and be a little bit more spontaneous, go with the flow a bit more, be adaptable, and just see what life brings in. And then you decide how you want to work with it. Beautiful energy here will likely bring about some kind of significant change within your life, but that change can absolutely be for the better because it can be so freeing. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, 7s. Bye for now. Life path number 8. So you're going to be working with the vibration of the 24-6 for this full moon. And so it's all about relationships around this full moon. But this is interesting in any kind of relationship, any kind of connection that you might have, especially ones that are closer to your heart. So this is a cycle where you could find a little bit of test, where you're being tested to strengthen your ability to balance your sense of responsibility. Like, what is your responsibility within that connection? And where is it that you just need to allow the other person to be themselves, to basically live and let live, right? Where you're not trying to control what the other person does. You're not trying to, even though you might think you know what's best for them, this is a cycle that will remind you that you only have control over your own experience. You might know what's best for them, or you might think you know what's best for them. But this is a cycle where, again, it's trying to show you where maybe you're trying to control that dynamic too much. And though your intentions are good and you have the best of intentions, what happens is you end up sort of taking their power away because you're trying to do it for them. And, one of the greatest lessons that we can learn in this lifetime is we're all on our own personal journey with our own lessons lined up. And we have to move through those lessons. Nobody can do it for us. We have to move through those experiences. Nobody can do it for us. No matter how much advice they give us, no matter how much they try to do it for us, they can never do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. And the more that we can recognize that about ourselves, but then also about others, then we recognize where we have the greatest control, which is within our own lives, and we stop trying to control the lives of others. Even if we think we know what's best, even if we think that, it would better serve us in some way, if they were to be this way or act this way, we have to release that control. And again, recognize where we have responsibility within that connection, what that responsibility is, what that looks like, through conversations and greater understanding, or seeking that greater understanding, but also to recognize when we need to let go and live and let live. You know what I mean? So you could definitely see that come up at this time. If you can recognize within your relationships where it is you're trying to dictate or control how the other person lives, or how they're showing up, or what they're doing, or the decisions that they're making, or if you're trying to overly influence that person, then you're trying to control their destiny. And that's not your job. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility lies with you. You could also see during this cycle where others are trying to do that to you. So someone may be trying to control your journey, your destiny, through their advice, or through their expectations, or through their conditions. So it's about recognizing where that's taking place, and then learning to, of course, advocate for yourself, set those healthy standards, and stand by those standards. So it's a very powerful cycle if you use the wisdom that's associated with it, but it can help you to recognize, what is my responsibility in this relationship? What is not my responsibility? And how can I sort of tend to that? This also can bring up sort of a cycle where the focus shifts to the external. So it's not about you in this cycle. It's about, maybe there's an issue or something that you have been working through that you're frustrated on and you feel stuck. This is such a great time to become the person who is of service in some way. So what is another person's issue? What are they struggling with? How can you be of service? And it's through being of service and helping them to find that solution, or uplifting, empowering, inspiring them in some way, that you will likely stumble across the solution that helps you as well. So you kind of shift the dynamic here. And this cycle is so beautiful for that. So it's a very service-centered cycle. So find where you can help others at this time, and you will find it to be the most empowering act, and will likely help you in some way, again, figuring out the solution that you needed without putting too much emphasis on that. This is also a cycle to bring justice where maybe there's been injustice. So you could see legal matters taking place and getting resolved at this time. You could see this is a time where, again, maybe you have to speak up for yourself, or have the conversation, or initiate the conversation. Advocate for yourself, be your best advocate, or advocate for another if they are powerless to do so at this time, to help them to gain their power back. So it's a really empowering type of cycle. But it does help you to recognize what is your responsibility within this connection or these connections, and how can you get back to a place where you're honoring that and not taking responsibility that isn't yours to take on. Also, because it is a love vibration 24/6, right? And it is, very much around relationships. For those of you who are single and looking to mingle, you could meet someone very significant at this time, or you could take a relationship to the next level. Or for some of you, if there's a relationship that's been kind of rocky and it's not working, this could be a time where you see that split happen. So, but it's helping you to get to the truth and the honesty and the love of that connection. And sometimes in love, we have to let go in order to fully show up unconditionally. So beautiful cycle here for you all 8s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 9, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 25/7. And so this is going to be a deep dive, or it's going to ask you to take a deep dive into your own depths. And so this cycle can bring in so much greater self-discovery about yourself. This could be a time to release some of those old belief systems that just aren't serving you anymore. And a lot of times the way that we do that is through the experience of life. So there may be some things that you have to move through at this time that will help you to see something about yourself that you couldn't have possibly known about yourself or seen about yourself had you not gone through the experience. So you might be closing that out at this time because it is a full moon, where you're gaining the wisdom from the experience that, again, was able to show you what you needed to see. That's very, very possible. But there's a very strong spiritual layer to the 7 cycle where, again, it helps us to tap into the absolute truth of who we are, which, of course, first and foremost is a spiritual being having this human experience. But that spirituality is not meant to help you to bypass the human experience. It's meant to help you to get the most out of the human experience as possible. And that usually comes through that greater self-discovery. This cycle can also help you tap into your intuition more deeply. It can help you to open up to greater gifts that you might have that are psychic in nature, or again, just sort of like where the veil is thin and you can kind of really work with some of the more spiritual side of yourself during these cycles. This is not a cycle, though, that I would say to force anything, to push anything. See what the universe brings your way and then decide how you want to work with it. You've already weaved your web. Now see what comes your way. This is a time where you might feel a little bit more withdrawn. You might need some alone time. You might want to take some time for yourself, get, reacquainted with nature or journal or meditation or something that makes you or allows you to, again, just reconnect with yourself. Enjoy the silence of being with yourself or even the uncomfortableness of that. And it can really open you up to so many beautiful sides of yourself that, again, maybe you didn't realize were there. This is also a time where you might want to go back to school or take a course or sort of expand your mind in some way. And I would say even your spirituality. So this could be a time to go on a retreat or, do something that, again, just helps you to unplug and reconnect with self, because that's truly for you in this journey. That's where all the answers lie. And the 7 cycle helps you to get reacquainted with that and to unlock the pieces of yourself that, again, maybe you didn't realize were there. Also, trust comes up a lot in the 7 cycle. So there might be opportunities to see where it is that you need to trust yourself more, trust others more, trust the universe more, and where maybe that trust has been broken and how you can kind of work through that. But that's something that could come up at this time. And so embrace that opportunity to learn to trust yourself more, or trust others, or trust the universe more. Beautiful cycle 9s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 11-2, you are working with the vibration of the 27-9 for this illumination. This is a time for you to embrace, explore, and try new ways of stepping into a purpose greater than yourself. And so this is a time where you could get some beautiful insights, downloads, inspirations that will help you to use your innate gifts, your creativity, your inspirations in a way that can help others in some way. So again, the theme is about shifting your focus from what it is that you're struggling with, what it is that you might be stuck with, and focusing your energy on the needs of others, helping them to find solutions to their problems, because in that process, you will likely find the solution to the problem that you've been working on. And in that process, it will help you to step into a purpose greater than self. This is a time where the things that you put your energy towards could absolutely gain momentum, doors can start to open for you. You can start to get the green light. So if you feel inspired to take action in a certain direction, this is a time to do that, or at least to start to get your ducks in a row so that you can do that as soon as possible. This is also a time where I would say if you've been already working on something or planning to create something, or maybe open a new business, or apply for a new job, or ask someone out, this would be a time where I would say to go for it, because you might see at this time that this vibration sort of brings together all the ingredients that are needed for you to be successful, or for the project to be successful, or the launch, or whatever it may be. Especially those things where your creativity is highlighted. So pay attention to those things. And especially as an 11-2, a lot of times there can be that self-doubt or that fear of ruffling feathers or whatever. But this is one of those times where you need to set that to the side, do the thing, and show yourself that you are capable of doing the thing. And I think you're going to find great success from that. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. You can certainly do it with other people. But this is a time to highlight your creativity, your gifts, your expertise in a way that is helpful to others, in a way that is, again, allowing you to step into a purpose greater than self, where the focus is not solely on self. This is a time where I would say, again, you're not meant to do it alone. You're meant to sort of enlist the aid of others to help you to do this, to help others, or to help you to turn your idea into something real and tangible, to bring it to life in a significant way. And I think you'll find that people will be responsive to that and want to help in whatever way they can. The events that line up at this time under this full moon and the actions that you take, right? The opportunity can be present, but if we don't take it, then it's just an opportunity that'll go to somebody else who will take it. But everything's kind of falling in line, or has the potential to fall in line at this time for, you to be set on a new path that has the potential to help you to achieve some of your greater goals, to bring in that prosperity that you've been working towards or wanting, to reach those goals that you've been seeking. It's such a strong potential for that, and can, again, open you up on a brand new journey towards some of your innermost dreams, some of those dreams that you might not even know that you had, or that you will have. But being set on this new path could certainly unlock them for you. So if you're sitting there feeling uninspired, this is the time to connect with others, to share ideas, to try new things, to be adventurous. And again, to shift the focus from self onto others. What are their needs? What solutions are needed? How can I be a part of this to bring those solutions to life? Because in that process, like I said, you'll become inspired. You'll find what inspires you. You'll find the solution to your own problem in the process. Beautiful energy here, but remember, it doesn't happen without you. So if the opportunity presents, take it, explore it. If the inspiration is already there, this is the time to bring it to life, to figure out what's needed in order to make it happen, and enlist the people who can help you to do it. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with a vibration of the 3811-2 for this cycle. This is beautiful. This is a master number as well, and it's an inspiring master number. Anytime that we work with the 11, it is bringing greater inspirations to life or to light, right? It's bringing those inspirations in some way. It could be someone coming to you with an inspiration that they've had and they want you to help them build it, because again, you're the master builder. It could be an inspiration that you've had that you want to take from the point of concept to reality, bring it to life in some way. And this is a cycle that can help you to do that. First, by embracing the vision, the inspiration, the idea, figuring out the strategy to make it happen, enlisting the aid of others to help you to make it happen, and being open to new ways of doing things and not being too stuck in your own rut or your own routines or your own sort of path, but being open to the suggestions and the ideas of others, because that's going to help you to truly bring it to life, whatever it may be. This is a time also where you could see a lot of doors open, a lot of green lights, a lot of things, falling into place in order for you to bring those inspirations or those dreams to life. People in positions of power or positions of influence could show up at this time, ready to assist you in whatever way they can in order for this to happen. This is also a time where you could see greater recognition come your way because of your actions, because of what you've been working towards, because of how you've been contributing your time, your energy, your resources. This is also one of those times, again, where if you want it, you have to ask for it. So, you don't have to do it yourself. And a lot of times with 22/4s especially, if we see the solution, then we usually want to make it happen, and we can get really steadfast in that and try to do it all ourselves, and then get frustrated because it's taking too long, or it's too hard, or it's not working. And this is one of those reminders, because as 22s, we are meant to work with others collaboratively. But this is one of those times where, we have to ask for it if we need it or if we want it. So if someone has something that we need or that we want in order to bring our dreams to life, we have to ask for their assistance. And then we have to be open to working and collaborating in a way that incorporates their ideas, their expertise, their resources. So this is a great opportunity to flex that muscle. But again, if you want it, you've got to ask for it. Don't fall into that space of feeling like you have to do it all alone, because that's just going to lead to frustration. You can do it, but you're going to be working very hard to get there, and it might not be as satisfying as it would be if you connect with others and work with others more collaboratively. And ask for what you need in order to make it happen and to do it well. There is also a really strong spiritual and metaphysical component with this cycle that can really help to bring your dreams or your messages from your subconscious to light. So again, pay attention to the ideas that you have at this time, the inspirations, the push that you feel from your soul that's pushing you in a certain direction that might feel much bigger than you, might feel like you're not ready for. But, it's that reminder that you are tuned in, especially as a 4, right? As a core 4, you are tuned into your spiritual self, your heart center, your intuition. And so continue to tap into those sides of yourself that may be closed off. And you want to gain access to that and continue to flex that muscle, because you're going to need that as you continue on your journey. So it can feel like there's like this powerful spiritual force present during this cycle, assisting you and helping you to awaken to that deeper side of yourself, because you can't do it without the spiritual side. You cannot step into the 22/4 without that spiritual component. And this cycle can help you to, again, really learn to embrace that side of yourself and to trust it. And not just rely solely on the logical or the practical or what you see in the external. And a really beautiful aspect of this cycle is that it asks us to take this opportunity to give not only of our material wealth or, our time, our talents, but also compassion, because those are obviously the things that hold true value that can make the most difference. So if you're capable at this time and you're able, then definitely, take opportunities to pay it forward in some way. Beautiful cycle, 22/4s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 33/6. So you are going to be working with the vibration of the 49/4. And I really love this vibration for you all. Now, it's a shorter cycle being a full moon, but this can bring in a sense of greater balance when it comes to the mind and the emotions. And when we have greater balance between the mind and the emotions, that can bring in material success, inner satisfaction. So this is a time when we can feel very fulfilled when it comes to our greater desires and goals and hopes and wishes. And it's one where we feel likely very much in balance. So I would say take this opportunity to, it's not even about celebrating or overextending yourself or anything when it comes to this cycle. It's more about sort of sitting in that contentment, sitting in that fulfillment from what you have achieved, from what you are grateful for, from what you have already done. And it can open you up to goals for moving forward, but I wouldn't even say focus on that yet. This is a cycle where it's a great opportunity to look at what you have already achieved, what you have already accumulated, what you have right now, and to find the gratitude for that, but also the understanding that you got yourself here, right? I'm sure you had help along the way, but you got yourself here. And so take stock in what you have already achieved, what you already have, and allow that to sort of set the stage for when you're ready to move forward towards the next goal. Let that set the mindset and remind you of what you're capable of. This is an excellent cycle for any kind of business matter, any kind of financial investment, as long as you are very honest in your approach. Meaning, like, don't overextend yourself. Don't be overly impulsive. Do it for the right reasons, whatever it may be. So if you're looking to launch something at this time, if you feel ready, if you feel good about it, this is a great time to do that. This is also one of those times where I would say, wherever you sort of invest your time or energy now, you could feel a great sense of satisfaction. You could feel like this sense of accomplishment, even if it's something small. We sometimes put that pressure on that our accomplishments need to be so big and so well received and received by a huge audience. But it's like, man, sometimes there's so much satisfaction in the little wins that we played a role in, that we were a part of. And this cycle helps you to remember that. Like just getting up and making it through the day and doing things that bring you joy, or making time, making it a priority to do the things that bring you joy throughout the day. That's a win, and there can be satisfaction and so much contentment with that. So embrace that. It's kind of that opportunity to slow down a little bit and look at, again, where you're at now and what you're grateful for and thankful for that you have achieved already. And again, that can help to set the stage for how you decide to move forward. This is also a cycle that can bring improvements to health or greater solutions when it comes to your health. Also, if you have been working on like a house project, like the physical structure of your house, you could see improvements there, or completions, taking place at this time, especially if it's like a project you've been working on for a long time. You could be finishing that up at this time, and that can feel good. I would definitely say during this cycle, especially at this, around this full moon, examine your pursuits and your desires and what what makes you happy, what you think will make you happy. Will they lead to greater freedom from anxiety, poverty, insecurities? Or will they just replace one set of restrictions with another? So this is a great checkpoint type of energy. It allows you, again, to see all that you've accomplished, that you've accumulated. What are you happy with? What are you not happy with? What do you want to pursue moving forward? What does that look like? What steps will you have to take? But also taking the time before you jump into the next thing to appreciate how far you have already come. Beautiful energy here, 33s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 44-8. You are going to be working with the vibration of the 52-7. So for you all, this is an opportunity for changes to relationships to occur. These changes can break free from the surface layer. So it can push you deeper within these connections, to go deeper, right? To ask the questions, to have the conversations, to explore without just taking things at face value, without making assumptions, without sort of adhering to any of the sort of preconceived notion that you might have about the situation or the person. It's really pushing you to go deeper. And first, you might have to ask yourself the questions before you can get those answers, before you can ask the other person the questions and get their answers. And what I mean by that is this is going to be a time where, you might have to have those conversations with yourself about what it is that you want out of your relationships, out of your connections. What does that look like? And can you get that without trying to manipulate or control the other person? And can you have those deeper conversations? Can you be vulnerable? Can you trust, right? Find ways to greater trust yourself, trust the other person, trust the universe in ways that maybe you haven't done before. So this cycle can kind of break you open to help others come in, right? So if there's any walls that you've created when it comes to that emotional layer, to your vulnerability, out of fear of getting hurt or whatever it may be, this cycle is going to help you to see where, in doing so, you are closing yourself off from people who can love you the right way, who can treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. Out of that, if you're blocking people out, it's that out of that fear of getting hurt again. And so the cycle is going to kind of push you beyond maybe where you're comfortable to, test the waters, to put yourself back out there a little bit, to trust and to be vulnerable again in some way. And you can do that in baby steps, but there's a greater lesson to be learned with this cycle, and life will bring you that lesson in order for you to find your ability to trust self, trust others, trust the universe, and also find that opportunity to be more vulnerable with the people in your life. You might find for some of this cycle that you crave solitude, that you want to, spend more time alone, that you want to go deeper, that you want to connect with nature, maybe seek therapy, take a course or a workshop or something like that, that allows you to expand your mind and your spirit, but also that sense of solitude that brings you back to self, sitting with the uncomfortableness of the silence of self and reconnecting to yourself, coming home to yourself. Because first we have to come home to ourselves before we can come home to others, truly. And this cycle helps us to remember that, but also gives us the tools that we need in order to do that. The other thing I would say with this cycle is, again, you might find that you need that solitude right now, but you're avoiding it because sometimes we don't want to be by ourselves. Maybe there's that sense of being lonely or whatever. But there could be some conditions around this cycle that push you temporarily to, kind of sink more into that solitude, that you might have to overcome that fear or that uncomfortableness of feeling lonely or isolated. And just remember that sometimes that solitude is necessary to stimulate the thoughts and the ideas related to your spiritual self, connected to your higher self, that can open you up to and bring greater balance into, your actual reality, your human experience. This is such a beautiful cycle for discovering what really, truly, truly, truly has value for you, and finding ways to release what doesn't. If it's not valuable to you, if it doesn't bring value into your life or if it doesn't bring value into the lives of others, then maybe it's not worth pursuing. Maybe it's not worth continuing to invest your time and energy into. But only you will know, right? Once you determine what value is to you, what is valuable to you. And I would also say, because this cycle can bring endings or closures that need to occur, especially if it's happening at a full moon. So I would just say, remember that any separation that occurs during this cycle is part of that ever-changing rhythm of life, that, changes bring new opportunities and challenges, but new opportunities. So it goes back to that, experiencing life to the fullest without overly attaching to anything. We're just here to experience, not to attach. So ultimately, this cycle is saying, what do you want to experience? What has value to you? And how do you need to open yourself up in order to honestly and truthfully receive that experience in a way where you can get the most value out of it? Beautiful cycle 44s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.